Lily, is there a new shelf there? You can see that she has a tail on it. She came down on it, and I didn't grab the camera. I just thought, okay, yeah, she'll go back on it eventually. But right now, she's kind of just like surprised, I think, more than anything, that there's actually a shelf there. Snakes are very, very cautious. They take their time to understand something that is new, that it's different. They've not had this before. This is something really, really different to them. Is it safe? Is it okay? Can I go on it? Can I go on it again? Is it going to move? Is it going to support me? This is a little bit of a continuation of their cognitive ability to think and understand things and work things out. In saying that, reminding you, it takes them not a split second, or, you know, even us as humans, it can take us a little while to understand something new. Well, it is exactly the same for your snakes, and why patience, waiting them out, consistently that particular thing being shown to them over and over and over and over again, whether that be once, whether that be 10 times, whether that be 20 times, until your snake decides this is okay, this is perfectly fine, and I figured it out. I know what it is, or I know what it is that I can do and I cannot do. You know, people talk about keeping their snakes safe out. Some people might look at this and say, that is just so not safe for a snake. They could fall. They could fall off, and, you know, they cannot do that. They will hurt themselves. Yes, especially big snakes. Absolutely. You do have to watch them. I am not saying I'm complacent and I just let my snakes get up here and crawl around, and I am vigilant and I'm watching. Yes, okay, you might say, but hang on a minute. Didn't a couple of little snakes fall off this fan? Yes, a couple of little snakes did. They fell off the fan. But the point is, those little snakes were my Antaresia, and I've, you know, should have known, and my fault completely. The fact they don't really use their tails like my carpet pythons do, or my Moralia, because I do have Archie, who is certainly not a carpet python, but really uses his tail to hang on, so he can stretch out major lengths to get from one place to another, and his tail is as strong as stronger than any other part of his body. And Ka and Ishi. Now Maya, Apani, have been up there many times and have never fallen off. I might sort of relate that to the fact that Apani and Maya have both been from birth, not birth, but, you know, have been given the opportunity to be out and exploring this room and climbing and going and doing and so forth. Is that why? I mean, I put it down to the fact that they've always had that ability to climb and be up. And I'm looking at the weight on this and I'm thinking to myself, I may have to put a support over this side and bring it up and connect it up into the ceiling to keep it level and stop it. Just seeing that. But, you know, it is giving your snakes the opportunity to use all their muscles and to develop those muscles. Now, Apani and Maya have never fallen off there. They're very confident up there. And I'm sure that as Ishi and Ka continue to learn about up there, they will do fine up there as well. They're learning, you know, always learning. I could be completely wrong. I am still learning, and I will continue to say in every video I do that I am continuing to learn all of the time from my snakes. Just my snakes. Occasionally I pick up a book and I learn something new, especially studies. And there's plenty out there that you can read for yourself. Take the time to read them, because that will give you a better understanding of your snakes. Offer them new experiences, even if you don't see. You know, Lily went on it but went off it. Okay, she climbed on it, she went off it, and now she's laying as close as she possibly can to it, but isn't on it. Because she's still thinking, is this a good thing or is this not a good thing? I haven't figured that out yet. Yep, she's been on it. She crawled over. She went up straight away to an area that she knows, that she's been to so many times in her life, that she's comfortable with. I am comfortable with them on this. I know it isn't going anywhere itself. And I know my snakes are smart enough, utilising this, that they're not going to fall off. But I don't sit here oblivious to the fact that my snakes are up here. I am not oblivious to them trying to get across from one of these to the other side either. Although I lost Archie, did I not? Archie is a totally different kettle of fish if you really want to think about it. And you can see him possibly, I will zoom in quickly, up there on his climber, and you can see that he's getting rather big for his climber, and he's not going to be able to have that climber for too much longer either. I can tell you that, and he may not very much like his mum either when I remove it. But my plans are, of course, to put him into a bigger enclosure, taller enclosure, which I think he's going to love anyway. So he may still love me and not mind the fact that that has disappeared. Or maybe I'll put it in, but I'll put it in differently. Let's see what I can do for him. They develop favourites. I'm all over the shop with this video. I know I am, and I'm not sticking to one particular thing. I'm talking about snakes falling off, but then Lily's up high, and people, I haven't clicked back to non-zoom. So you can see her right up there, but I know she's contemplating going back onto that shelf as to why she's not moved. She's thinking. I won't go too far away. That isn't her normal spot. That's just being close to something that's new and different. But back to Archie. He's going to be going up into a much, much bigger enclosure. I think he's going to love it because he's going to have lots of perches and lots of places to climb and to get up high. But in remembering that they do like to be up high, these guys, he will need his basking heat. I'm not sure about floor heat as yet. I will watch his behaviour. If I see him going. Now, thinking about that, just thinking about that within my own brain, and I'm going to mention Peter Birch here too, because that thinking process was not there for Peter originally. But I don't know his rough scales at all. I don't know what their behaviour was within their enclosure or tub. You know, the water was at floor level in a tub. They're now in this massive, great big enclosure, which is wonderful to see. And the water bowl is on the ground. And it's a really, really high enclosure. And rough scales like to be high. They won't come down for their water. They weren't coming down for their water. And besides not coming down to the water, it's too cold on the ground in a great big tall enclosure to even want to be on the ground to drink water. So Peter was smart enough and put a water bowl up high for them. So now they can drink their water without having to go to the ground. But he also put a heat panel, heating device on the floor so that they're comfortable to go down there anyway. So, I'm going to be mindful of that with Archie. Archie right now, I've told you, he leans from that all the way over to his water bowl and gets a drink of water. I don't see Archie come down to get his water. I don't really, not often do I see Archie using his hammocks. The higher, the better, you could say. So, that's Archie. Not so much Lily. As much as she loves high out here, she did not like high in an enclosure. She likes to be lower to the ground. It seems weird, doesn't it, when she spends a lot of her time up here as high as she can possibly be. But no, cognitively, she's figuring this out all on her own. And when she chooses to go and climb on it again, that's exactly what she will do. And I can tell you, once she's figured it out and she knows it there, it's going to become a familiar thing that she uses all of the time. And she will use it all of the time. And so will my other snakes as they come out and they realise this is here. And some will take to it so much faster and quicker, because some of them figure it out and do much faster than others. Does that mean one is smarter than the other? No, just I think quicker to make sense of it. Not smarts. Is Lily smarter for just taking her time, working it out? Does she weigh the pros, the cons? Well, I like it, I don't like it. Is it safe, is it not safe? Is it where I want to be, but I like it up here and I like it over there in my little spot, and, much more thinking going on. Maybe the ones that jump on it straight away, don't give it a second thought, but don't stop to think, oh, is this safe? Am I going to be okay on this? They just go for it. So many things to think about with your snakes, and why and how come and what for, and why does one do this and the other doesn't do something. Does anybody care about that angle of a snake? Does anybody stop to think about those angles of a snake? Not many do. And you should. You really, really, really should. So, before this video goes too long, I'll say goodbye. Take care, everyone. Ciao.